Don't fall into this trap. You may be deceived without even realizing it. Some evangelical churches, which should be spiritual refuges, are actually fortresses of deception. Churches where Satan hides behind the name of God, seducing, manipulating, and leading souls away from true salvation. If you don't open your eyes now, it may be too late. Before I reveal which churches these are and the hidden signs that expose their true nature, pay attention. Satan is the master of disguise. He doesn't appear with horns and a trident, but with sweet words and seductive promises. As it is written in 2 Corinthians 11:14. And no wonder, for Satan himself transforms himself into an angel of light. And he has used churches, pastors, and distorted doctrines to trap lives in a fatal illusion. You may be attending one of these churches without knowing it. You may be manipulated without realizing it. What seems sacred may actually be a carefully crafted deception to keep you away from the truth. Now, I will show you how to identify these churches that serve Satan instead of God. The first is the one that emotionally imprisons you. Have you ever felt afraid to question your religious leader? Have you heard that if you leave, you will be abandoning God? These churches don't teach the freedom that Christ brought, but instill fear and guilt in the hearts of their followers. With fiery speeches and a distorted doctrine, they make people emotionally dependent on the institution. The fear of not being blessed, of losing everything, of being under a curse if they don't perform certain rituals. All of this is part of the psychological game that keeps crowds hostage. And the worst part? Many give everything they have, possessions, money, time, even their own dreams, believing they are being faithful to God. But is that what Jesus taught? The second church is the one that places anything above Christ. Human doctrines are imposed as if they were divine. The Bible becomes a detail, and the focus turns to strict rules, rituals, veneration of leaders, and dogmas that enslave the soul. In Matthew 15:9, Jesus warned, "But in vain they worship me, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men." When the tradition and authoritarianism of an institution are placed above the pure and simple gospel, what we have is not a church of God, but a temple of spiritual confusion. Those who enter thinking they are seeking the truth may end up farther from it than ever. And the third church, this may be the most dangerous of all, because it doesn't seem like a threat. On the contrary, its appearance is one of total holiness. Its leaders seem impeccable, its practices sound spiritual, but there is an hidden system of control that devastates lives. In these churches, people don't just follow God. They have to submit their personal decisions to leaders who dictate where they should live, whom they should marry, and what career they should pursue. If anyone dares to question or leave, they face isolation, guilt, and even spiritual threats. Those who rebel against the system are treated as traitors of the faith. The result? Broken families, emotionally shattered people, and financially ruined individuals. The control is total, and the destruction is inevitable. And all of this is done in the name of God. Now stop and think. Have you seen these signs anywhere? Have you ever felt like your faith is being used against you? What is true and what is manipulation? The Bible teaches us that where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. 2 Corinthians 3:17. If your faith has imprisoned you, something is wrong. Satan doesn't want you to know this. He wants you to stay blind, trapped in a system that only drains your soul, energy, and resources. But you don't have to fall into this trap. You have the power to discern the truth, be alert to the signs, know the Bible, because it is your only defense against deception. If you don't want to be another victim of these manipulative churches, the only way out is to dive into God's Word. And if this video has opened your eyes, share it with those who need to hear this truth before it's too late.